You have socially conscious lyrics kind of alongside this sometimes cheesy upbeat rock. I find it really kind of bizarre sometimes.
AC Snap.
Oh, Sam Fender, the British singer-songwriter from North Shields. North Shields, of course, being a working-class town in the northeast of England. Sam being quite successful and gaining recognition quite quickly, especially because of his heartfelt storytelling and his sort of like heartland rock sound that he's going for. And I find this contrast quite interesting. You have socially conscious lyrics kind of alongside this sometimes cheesy upbeat rock. I find it really kind of bizarre sometimes, but I think it actually works quite well. It encapsulates that sort of working class graft and spirit that he often sings about, exploring themes of mental health, toxic masculinity, alongside these working class struggles, all while delivering this like anthemic guitar driven music. This is all in his third studio album following 17 Going Under. And just before that, in 2019, his debut album, again has that fiery mix of political charged anthems and personal reflections. But let's all rewind, or should I say fast forward to now to People Watching. It has heavy layered guitar production alongside the emotions of a man holding on to the community he once belonged to, struggling with the difficulty of essentially moving to a higher class, whilst also trying to tackle problems within the music industry, be that nepotism, or the public's relation to it, which I can't imagine is something easy for him, because you are essentially no longer a part of that community as much as you think you might be. You're just not. And yes, you will eventually change, and you can't convince me otherwise. And you hear this struggle in his lyrics, for example on the song TV Dinner, having some slight Radiohead vibes, exploring the sort of rise and fall of past artists and the way society builds them up only to sort of tear them down again. Or on the song Crumbling Empire, which sees Sam sort of think about what would it be if I still was there and I didn't, move forward with my life. As I digress too far into the meanings and depths of his psyche, which, I'm not. Sam has had many influences from like Jeff Buckley to Phoebe Bridgers, or most noticeably on this track, Bruce Springsteen, which you can hear quite profusely all over the album, but especially on the opening titled track, People Watching, sounding like a mashup of Dancing in the Dark and Boys of Summer by Don Henley, except it has this slightly more British feel to it. Again, alongside this, lyrics that really contrast this upbeat feel, written as a tribute to his late friend and mentor Annie Orwin, drawing sort of inspiration from his walks to and from her care home, which, he does paint a pretty vivid picture here. The whole building being run down and the staff being overworked, a kind of dire insight into our government at the minute and the criminal underfunding of healthcare here, especially in the UK anyway, which he perfectly sums this up in one line. I fear for this crippled island and the turmoil of the times. Musically, it's nothing special, but it doesn't really have to be. It's fun and upbeat, wearing its heart on its sleeve here. Mix-wise as well, it's not the cleanest, but I don't mind it too much. There are moments of muddiness here and there, especially in the busy moments of the track. The influence of Bruce Springsteen and others throughout the album does hinder the originality quite a bit, but Sam's vocals and his storytelling does kind of win you over. Tracks like Chin Up, for example, or even Crumbling Empire sounding like Love of the Common People. And honestly, influence is kind of all over this album, but it's not subtle. It's very in your face, and I think it kind of wants to be. Nostalgia's Lie starting off like something the Lars would come up with. Pretty catchy in terms of vocal melody, and Sam's voice here also sounding quite nice. Lyrically, Sam's really shining here as well. I'm always intrigued by his influence in his vocals. For example, here, the idea that nostalgia is something that grips us, but we're kind of looking at it through rose-tinted glasses, ignoring glaring problems that were surrounding us at the time. But at the same time, there's also something that we can learn from and take into the future. Things become a little more understated with the next track, Wild Long Lie. This really sweet guitar riff, these wailing strings. It evokes this 80s feel with this saxophone leading you out. lyrics about visiting the past, going back to where you're from, the same annoying conversations with people you used to know, not wanting to be stuck in that same old life. And the production really narrated that feeling around the 2-minute mark, when all these certain sounds fall out and you have Sam morosely singing the words, "I think I better leave this town." One of the more standout tracks for me on the album. It's sad and I'm feeling it. After this track, things do start to feel kinda samey. Songs like Arm's Length, I don't really have anything to complain about, but also there's nothing really more to praise about it. It doesn't really stand out as anything more than just a festival chant anthem. As do so many of the tracks on the last minute or so, Sam blaring out the same line 3 to 5 times, i.e. the song A Little Bit Closer, chanting, you guessed it, I get a bit closer. Nearing the end though with Rein Me In. Again, I enjoyed it, but there's nothing really outstanding here for me. It's fun, it's catchy, the production is very clean, I have to admit. Although I do find the snare and drums just a little bit overcompressed maybe, like it kind of loses itself a bit there. The penultimate track, Something Heavy, really liking Sam's vocals on this track especially. Singing about being drunk, but it kind of comes across in his vocals, but it's coming across in a really nice way, like it's intentional. It sounds a little bit slurred. Against this like melancholic instrumentation, he's really kind of setting a vibe, but it's really broken up by these upbeat sounds of like banjo and other strings. And for me, this is where I think the album should have finished. The last track, Remember My Name, coming to grips with dementia. I mean, it's a really hard-hitting, sad song, leaving you feeling quite down after what is essentially quite an upbeat album. But overall, compared to so many of the other tracks, it just felt a little bit hollow. That isn't to take away from the lyrics though, because they are quite heavy. But saying that, that might have been the vibe he was actually trying to go for, I'm not sure. But the trumpets and Sam's vocals for me didn't really mesh as well as so much of like the Heartland rock sound did. In the end, Sam Fender's album feels like a bittersweet reflection on identity, class, and change. Whilst it leans heavily on its influences, his raw storytelling and vocals keep it grounded and genuine. Like, it's not a perfect record by all means. Some moments feel similar or repetitive, but its heart is kind of undeniable. It's there on his sleeve. Sam really captures this tension between moving forward and holding on to where you came from. So after all of that, I think I would give this album a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought below. Interesting to hear all your thoughts, so please do leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you like, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you very much and goodbye.